What's going on, A to Z Sports? We are live here on a Wednesday morning. Sam Phelan and Easton Freeze here with you as we continue to get through this Titans offseason and start looking towards the NFL draft. Easton and I going over the latest Titans news, which is some trade rumors regarding the quarterback position. And then we are going to look at NFL power rankings, play a little bit of a fun game here to figure out exactly where the Titans belong. Are they being disrespected again? Are they being overvalued again? I don't know. Easton and I are going to talk about it and break it down and figure out where exactly they belong here on a Wednesday morning. We'll wrap it up with some of those bracket picks that I teased yesterday, and we'll finish with sports trivia on what should be a great show on a Wednesday morning. Easton, tell the folks what to do.
Good morning, folks. Good morning, Sam. Help us out this morning with a quick like on YouTube, on Facebook. Just hit that like button real quick. It costs you nothing. It's very helpful to us. So like the show. Jump into the comment section like Ross, Anthony, Poncho, John, Brian, Rashid, MM Titan, Bobby, others. I see some familiar faces in there. Julius Chestnut coming in hot as always. Good morning to you guys. Please like the show if you're in the comment section. Yeah, okay. All right. Good morning to you, Lewis. Like the show, jump in the comments. Let's get started.
All right, let's get started. Let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, live on a Wednesday morning, every weekday morning at 8 Central Time, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show are tweeted out segment by segment on the Twitter feed. At ATOZ Sports is where you can find us on that Twitter X timeline. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more Titans coverage and leave us a 5-star Google review, which helps out more than you know. We got to thank our sponsors this morning for making the show happen while also helping out all of you there. Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. boneandjointtn.org is where you can schedule your appointment with them and our friends at Bart Durham Injury Law, because a crash can change your life forever. And help is just one click away at Bart Durham. Okay, Easton, I think we sort of anticipated doing a little bit of mock draft stuff today. That was sort of where we were leaning. You are going to be on the morning show tomorrow and on Friday with our guy Ryan Roberts talking more draft stuff. So we will hold off on a lot of the draft coverage and content for tomorrow and Friday because that is Ryan's specialty. And we will talk between you and I today about a report that came out late last night that I think maybe doesn't provide a ton of new news, but I do think entertains an interesting conversation about one Titans quarterback, Will Levis. Josina Anderson yesterday, evening notes, the offseason carousel continues to churn, was told these two quarterback names came up in recent preliminary trade inquiries and internal discussions per a league source. Kirk Cousins, Will Levis. Atlanta has been getting calls with talk of a third-round pick being actionable for the Falcons, and the Titans would like to transition, look to trade Levis. What would that market be, though? Something to monitor. There are always curveballs. Easton, what say you about potential Will Levis trade rumors and his name being brought up in discussions at this point in the offseason?
Honestly, I say that tweet's pretty dumb. I say that those are two things that, like, welcome to the party. We've known this. Thanks for, I guess, saying that you heard it being discussed. I'm not a huge fan of Josina Anderson, if you can't tell. Sure. Okay. We know that Kirk Cousins, like, the reason Atlanta chose to eat $10 million they did with the new league year, they're wanting to move him and they're desperate to get compensation back. We knew this. So, I guess maybe the little bit of news there is a third-round pick, but you probably could have guessed that's maybe the range they were looking for. I doubt they get it, but that's probably what they're looking for. And then with Levis, again, pull that back up. The way she phrased it, I mean, it's just so, like, nothing burger.
Yeah, I
heard the name brought up. The name came up in recent preliminary asterisk trade inquiries or internal discussions, whatever that.
Let me also bring up the fact that the word "or" is used there, right?
Yeah.
I think Kirk Cousins is the name that's been brought up in preliminary inquiries. Teams are calling the Falcons about Kirk Cousins, and Will Levis is the internal discussions where the people within the organization are like, and then I obviously have to point out the note there. Quote, the Titans would like to transition. Yeah.
Welcome to the party. Like, awesome insidering there by Josina. Top shelf stuff. This report, I mean, this is as detailed as she heard in a text from somebody, probably an agent, some agency, maybe somebody in the building, that they could, somebody essentially said, well, they could trade him, or I wonder if they'd trade him, or it makes sense if they wanted to trade him. And then she tweeted this. So cool. Like, I'm going to text you tomorrow. Hey, I could see the Titans trading Will Levis, so that you can go and say, I've heard preliminary reports the Titans might trade Will Levis. The actual question we want to get to, now that I've made my feelings on this situation clear, is maybe kind of a refresh of the conversation. What do we actually think that they're considering doing, and maybe what they should do with Will Levis? Because we talked about this a good bit at the end of the season, before we had really any clear picture on what the quarterback situation would be going into next year. Just knowing the way that these things work, when you have a guy that was a highly drafted player, was the guy for a little under 2 years, you're clearly firmly transitioning off of him, like that tweet says, they like to transition. Yes. What should they do, and what will they do with Will Levis? Is it possible? Because I know Austin Stanley, when we talked, him and I think like the day or two after the season on the show, this came up, and he was very adamant that there's just no way Will Levis can be on the roster to begin the year next year. Maybe he's around for OTAs, maybe he's around for training camp, maybe he's even playing a preseason game or two, but there's no way he's on the 53-man roster. So I guess, Sam, my question to you is, how do you feel about that? And has your opinion on that maybe changed in the past couple of months?
On what it will be, or what they should do?
Yes.
I don't think my opinion has changed. I want to open it up to the chat, I guess. Let's open it up to the chat, because I'm curious to see. Actually, we can wait, right? So what should they do?
Never mind, chat. Go away.
Yeah, well, to me, I think the Titans should at least have Will Levis in camp with them.
Agreed.
That feels like the deliberate direction that this is going. We talked when we were previewing the backup quarterback situation on which quarterback in free agency the Titans could target before they signed
Brandon Allen.
Yes. I was telling Zach on the show earlier today that I forget that dude's name half the time I try to talk about him, and I try to call him Jake Browning. But
we'll get it when we meet him. We'll put a name.
Brandon Allen. They signed Brandon Allen, and I think that was a little bit of a step below the tier of even backup quarterbacks that we were sort of talking about on that show. And I think but I do think the intention that we talked about on that show was pretty clear, is that you bring Brandon Allen in as a barometer for where Will Levis needs to prove he can be at. And if you go into training camp and Will Levis is at or greater than Brandon Allen, you go with Will Levis as the backup quarterback, and you probably keep him. If Will Levis is less than, or Brandon Allen just kind of like has a really good camp and you're really starting to like the fit there, then maybe you move on from Will Levis, and then you have some trade capital. You can get some trade capital like you could for Malik Willis. I will say, if you could trade Malik Willis last year and you could get a pick in exchange for Malik Willis, I think you can certainly get a pick for Will Levis, probably a better one than you got for Malik Willis.
Yes.
Malik Willis was the least proven quarterback possible. And Will Levis, despite the bad year last year, still has starting experience, has shown some flashes, and was a second-round pick. So there is some upside here to invest in as a backup if you were a team trading for him.
So we've seen Kenny Pickett get traded for a fourth and then a fifth and a player. We've seen that whole class. We've seen a number of. We've seen Zach the
Kenny Pickett trade. I mean, like,
we've seen
is Kenny Pickett, is Will
Sam
Levis
Howell
more,
trade?
Is
Drew Lock trade? Sorry, go ahead.
Good. Is Will Levis more or less valuable than Kenny Pickett right now?
More.
I think so, right?
Yeah,
like
more. I mean, the bar's in the basement.
Kenny Pickett, a year that was similar to Levis's year, where it was a bad year as a starter, then sits on the bench for an entire season, then gets traded. So I think, Rashid says more, Zedro says more. I think Will Levis is more valuable than Kenny Pickett, and you got some stuff for Pickett. The thing with me is that training camp is a PR stunt. That's what training camp is for teams. You can boost up whoever you want in training camp and talk about how
It's a dog and pony
fantastic they're
show.
playing.
Yep.
Yeah, and nobody else can say no
County
because
fair.
most of those people aren't there. And so you can be like, yeah, that Brian Callahan can get at the podium every single week and talk about how much progress and growth he's seen from Will Levis.
I've never seen anything like it. It's unbelievable what this guy's done.
Will came in with a different mindset. He looks like a different quarterback, just really, really strong.
Making me regret drafting a quarterback, frankly. I don't know what we were doing. This guy's amazing.
You can do that over
the top.
Yeah, it's a PR stunt that allows you to gas up players. As of right now, I don't know if Will Levis's value could be lower. And I think in training camp, all you have, if he is healthy throughout training camp, all you need is a couple highlight videos that go to the team's social media and some comments from Brian Callahan. And then all of a sudden, Will Levis stock is back on the rise and you make him more valuable.
2 electric quarters in a preseason game against the San Francisco 49ers, and you're set. You're set. You're good to go.
So James says Levis will be gone before training camp, but that's why I say I don't think it makes sense to get rid of Will Levis before training camp because all you're going to do in my eyes is boost his value.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so the reason why I won't be totally shocked if he's gone before training camp is just if, again, to go back to that report from Josina, if there are legs to that now, I think that the reasoning is because there's a real market now and they feel like, hey, somebody wants to give us a 5th round pick for him that we could use this year. Maybe who knows? Okay, cool. Fine. Then that would make some sense. I do think, and this is my, an analyst cap on, not my reporter cap. We've been saying on the show that it feels like you said, the selection of Brandon Allen as the backup quarterback feels like a classic ultimatum play for a backup quarterback competition that may result in Will Levis claiming the mantle as your strong backup, and you've got a cost-controlled backup, and that's great and that's cool, and he knows the system already. Or he loses and the career's over. Or third option, he wins it, and like you said, the stock is higher, and you sell high on him after having won the backup competition. You ship him off for a 4th round pick at the end of August. So I'm with you that makes more sense to me. But if they were to move him before training camp, and I also, I'm not like Austin was. I'm not sure if Austin still is. We'll have to ask him when he comes back. I'm not of this mind that there's just no way he's on the 53-man roster this year. I think there is a way he's on the 53-man roster this year as the backup.
We'll get there here.
Okay.
So real quick, Joey says get a 4th and then you have 3 4s to move up into the 3rd. I think that's an interesting idea. Can you get a 4 though?
Right now, no.
I don't think so. Right for this.
I say that, and then Kenny Pickett just got a 5th and a player. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
It seems like probably not, but I think
it would take a team looking at this draft quarterback class saying we really want a mid-round quarterback, but we think the guys that are going to be available to us in the 4th round are not nearly as good as Will Levis is.
Right.
Let's just send our 4th for Will Levis. I don't see that
It's
happening.
a team that circles Kyle McCord, and then Kyle McCord goes before them, and then they want a mid-round quarterback still, and then they're like, well, Will Levis is better than Will Howard, so we'll take Will Levis, and that's what ends up happening.
Give us a Saturday afternoon, mid-4th round trade, ship Will Levis off. You're suddenly on the clock with the 4th you didn't think you'd have. That's what I want.
But then you can't trade that 4th as the suggestion.
I think that suggestion is, you could do that. I don't think they're that desperate for a 3rd round pick that this is a team that wants swings. And if you tell them 1/3 or 3/4, they're just going to be happy to take BP in the 4th round.
Sure. All right. Well, that brings us to our big question here, because we certainly, like we said, we are not super impressed by this update from Josina Anderson that this is a possibility. Welcome to the party, as Easton said. We know that it's a possibility, but let's get a gut check on a Wednesday morning here. Gut check: is Will Levis on the Titans 53-man roster to begin the season? Is he all the way on the 53-man, either as a 3rd quarterback or as a backup quarterback? What do you guys think in the chat while you guys let us know? I'm going to tell you about my gut check. Here's a gut check for you. Call Bart Durham. Bart Durham Injury Law, because you deserve to be paid. Bart Durham, they're just a call away. A crash can change your life forever, and help is right there. Your big truck wreck is their fight for justice. You can reach Bart Durham 24/7 to get your legal questions answered at 615-242-9000. Our guy Blair is a Marine veteran, and he's here to help you because you deserve to be paid. Attorneys are available to meet with you wherever is most convenient, including virtually. So visit that website, bartdurham.com, for current news, blogs, and to contact or live chat. Bart Durham Injury Law.
So much more to say for you this morning, but before we get to the rest of the conversation, make sure that you have liked the show this morning. Hit that like button on Facebook, on YouTube. Like the show, thumbs up. It's that little thumbs up button. It's very helpful to us. So like the show and then jump into the comments and answer our question, which is, will Levis be on the Titans 53-man roster to begin the 2025 NFL season? And as I turn to the comments to see what the folks are saying, Curtis says, I hope not. We're not asking for your hopes, Curtis. We're asking for your prediction. Titans Kyle says no. Kyle Wood says no. Rashid says no. And M Titan says no. Darius says no, he'll be traded before week 1. Daniel says yes, he will be, as does Vanessa Correa, as does Eric. Peyton and Jennifer and Andre say no. Michael says no with many O's. Drew says traded post camp, so right at the buzzer there. Ira Hoshi says yes. Adam says no, as does Top Tier. Jason says yes. So eyeballing it. Looks like we've got probably a 65-70% contingency on the no train this morning. No, Will Levis will not be on the 53-man roster come week 1. Sam, what say you?
I've gone back and forth all morning on my answer to this. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I think he beats out Brandon Allen.
There it is.
There we go. It's the money ball. When I snap at you, I need you to say Brandon Allen. I think he beats out Brandon Allen. It's tough because part of me thinks Mike Borgonzi, right, is all about getting these draft picks. There's no real future for Will Levis to be here. And so if you're the Titans, perhaps you're just trying to get off of him and get a more reliable guy like Brandon Allen that has worked with Brian Callahan before as the backup. And if you can get a pick, you're going to take that pick rather than just holding Will Levis for no reason. But I think he's going to show enough upside in camp because I can't get over there was a 5 to 6 week period in the middle of last season that Will Levis looked absolutely competent or better than competent. He looked absolutely fine to good in all of those games. And then it sort of deteriorated from there kind of unexpectedly and fell off a cliff, and just Brian Callahan was done after he regressed once again. I do think that we could see more of that other version of Will Levis, that upside is still interesting enough to the Titans where you'd rather have him. Like, who do you trust to come in and possibly win a game for you more, Brandon Allen or Will Levis? To me, Will Levis. I think the flash is there with Levis more than it is with Allen. So as the roster currently sits, I guess I'll say, yeah, I think he is on the 53 as a backup.
I will say that the honest answer from the folks inside the Titans building right now is that he's probably on the roster. But when push comes to shove 3 months from now, he ultimately will not be. I think that they'll get an offer that they decide, okay, well, fine. And they end up trading him.
That was my fear, right? Like, that's my fear answering yes, is because I think right now as it sits, the plan is for him to be on the roster. But I think, even if you do get him into training camp and he has a good training camp and that's starting to look like a real positive, if somebody calls you with a 4th or a 5th round pick, right, and they're like, hey, 4th round pick for Will Levis, I think if you're the Titans, you're looking at what is the gap between Levis and Brandon Allen as a backup quarterback. Not significant enough where we care. The plan, if for the Titans, is to have Cam Ward start all 17 and that you're not going to need him. So I think if that is how you're planning to go into the season, then it's worth pulling the trigger on that pick. So that's why I went back and forth.
Yeah, and it sounds like we're in the same place where we won't really be super shocked either way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
So I mean, Edward says y'all in love with the Mayo boy. The Warden is loading. I love that nickname, the
The
Warden.
Warden.
I think Edward might have just cooked up the
That's
nickname for the new
that
Titans
jumps to the
quarterback.
top of the list, the
The
short list of
Warden.
possibilities
The
there. I
Warden
like
is
that.
sick. That is sick. Edward, you might have just done something, my man. I mean, no, it's not about Levis over Ward or anything like that. Ward's going to be the starter, but you need a backup quarterback. And I think what do teams look for in a backup quarterback? Well, we have an answer to that from what Brian Callahan said last year when he was looking for a backup quarterback. They look for somebody who has played football. They look for somebody who has starting experience and somebody who can sort of provide instant offense if you need to surprise win a game. And I do think Will Levis has that ability for 1 or 2 weeks. He can go out and be awesome for 1 and 2 weeks. I don't know if you trust him ever to be good for 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks, but 1 or 2 weeks of instant offense from Will Levis, I don't think that's impossible. And we saw that, like, the man's NFL debut was a 4 touchdown game where he created some explosive passing plays. So I think if you're the Titans, you look at that, and I think that can be attractive in a backup.
By the way, the Titans just announced they are re-signing running back Julius Chestnut to a 1-year deal.
Boom, baby.
Here's my quick analysis on that. This does not preclude them from adding another running back.
I agree.
I think at the back end of the draft, UDFAs, maybe a post-draft free agent signing. They have been all offseason looking for as Daniel says, probably a camp body
And a special teams body. You see how teams plays out. But Chestnut was on teams all year last year, and if he can be a good special teams guy, then maybe he does make the team as a special teams guy. But I don't think you go into the year with him as your third running back. You're good. There's going to be you can keep 4 running backs if one of them actually has offensive value.
And I love Julius as a guy. It's just, it is what it is right now. And they have been they're shopping for a very specific type of running back. They want a between the tackles thumper type, dirty work downs kind of guy. And that's not Julius. It's not anybody on this roster right now. So, they don't look at this as they have locked up the running back room.
I would agree. I think late round running back is still a possibility. I do think we need to, when we look at the running backs in this year's class, like Jordan says, Ollie Gordon for a late round running back. I think I think a lot of these guys are going to go earlier than you think they
agreed.
They
but I love Ollie.
I think like Ollie probably goes in the 4th. I don't think Ollie goes in the 6th or the 7th. If he was going in the 6th or the 7th, I'd say yes, do it. But I think a lot of these, like, I know people have mentioned like Scattaboo or however you say it.
Scattaboo is going to be a day 2 guy.
Yeah, like Scattaboo's going in the 3rd. So it's like, it's going to be tough to find any of these guys in the late round. So we might need to pivot our view of what's possible at that position with how late we think they're going to actually wait to take it. Okay. Easton, moving on. We're going to talk NFL power rankings. I found a new NFL.com power ranking this morning and going to share with the chat where the Titans rank in it. And then we'll play a little bit of a game figuring out, is the NFL right or wrong to put the Titans where they have the Titans? And we'll figure out exactly what the right spot is for them. That's coming up. Before we get there, going to tell everybody about the Bone and Joint Institute. It's the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Don't fumble on your recovery. Go to the Bone and Joint Institute. They've got everything all under one roof at a state-of-the-art rehab facility in Franklin. Clinic, rehab, surgery, imaging, testing. It's all there. Maximum convenience. You can get in, get out. They've got over a dozen doctors to assist in your recovery. Schedule your appointment with them at boneandjointtn.org.
There's so much more to say, but make sure you've left a 5-star Google review. And I'm realizing in real time that we have a banner for that, right? Do we have the Lumen
Yes,
special?
We
There
do.
it is. Like the show, subscribe, of course, but then go to Google for the Lumen 5-star special. Hit that A to Z Sports review button. Search A to Z Sports in the search bar. You'll see A to Z Sports, business entity, sports reporters and stuff. There's 5 stars. Hit that one on the far right-hand side. and then say whatever you want in the comments. Give us your feedback, positive, negative, whatever you feel about A to Z Sports. Let us know. Make sure it comes with a 5-star review, as we are trying to get to a 5.0 rating on Google. It is genuinely helpful to us. This is not just what's it called when you just do a vanity project? That's what I'm looking for. This is not a vanity project by us. This is because Google traffic really does, for some reason, rely on your star rating. They care about that. So we care about that. So if you care about A to Z Sports, leave us one of those 5-star reviews today.
All right. Let's go ahead and get to this. I was scrolling. I was looking what was going on in the Titans world. I thought, free agency has happened. There's been a little bit of a shakeup around the league. Where exactly are the Titans sitting in a power rankings list? So NFL.com came out with the latest power rankings list. The Tennessee Titans are 32.
Oh,
dead last.
Down one from their last rankings.
Dead last and moved down. Yes, they've upgraded at 2 spots on the offensive line. With the additions of Dan Moore Jr., Kevin Zeitler, and J.C. Latham could really benefit a move from right tackle, the position he should have been playing all along. That's a solid start to free agency. Even if the Titans have stopped short of fireworks, everything seems to be pointing to drafting a quarterback at number 1 right now. That can change over the next months, but that's the direction I'm leaning at the moment. If they take Cam Ward first, the Titans will be passing on 2 potentially elite non-QBs in Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, as well as a trade down windfall. But then again, Ward also could do for the Titans what Bo Nix did for the Broncos last season. I'll be interested to see which direction Tennessee goes in, but Ward feels like a stronger possibility than he did a few weeks ago.
Whoever wrote this, welcome to the party to you too, sir. Happy to have you.
Welcome to the party.
Happy to have you.
So I guess we can do this right away because the chat is already chomping at the bit to get in. Where should the Titans rank in the NFL power rankings after free agency? Where should the Titans rank in NFL power rankings after free agency? Easton, if you want to go ahead and look at some of the early replies from the chat upon seeing Tennessee at 32.
Let's see. Cap says 32 seems pretty accurate. Brad says they earned it. Tell Texan says well deserved. Vanessa says F these ratings. Let's see. And I'm Titan, number 1 pick. Can't argue with that. Raz Biggie, can't blame him. Levis is our quarterback at the moment. Bork says 32 has to be the Giants until they have any other quarterback than Tommy DeVito. Corey says he rates those rankings a 32 out of 32. Edward, for some reason, says, are we not in on Amari Cooper anymore? Never were.
We were, yeah. I was going to say we were in on Amari Cooper.
Never were. Jordan says the Toronto Argonauts outrank us. That's probably true. Eric 32nd, Orlando 32nd, Jonathan 34th. He's expanding the franchise or the league and then still bumping them down.
So here,
I says 28. IR Hoshi says 22.
Ooh,
we got some folks that have more faith.
Don't hear me saying the Titans are being disrespected, right? You went 3-14.
You think the Titans are being disrespected?
No.
Okay.
You went 3-14, right? I love that comment. We earned it. You earned that rating, but you did do some stuff in free agency, and it got me thinking, and we can play this game real quick.
Okay.
Titans or blank, right? Would you rather be the Titans or blank? Okay, so 31, the New York Giants. Would you rather be the Titans or the New York Giants right now?
Easily the Titans. Everyone understands this.
So
the Giants are in a rough way right now, man. It's not good.
Treat this like sports trivia. We got to go rapid fire in the chat.
Rapid fire? All right.
Titans or Giants to the chat. Rashid says Titans. I see that coming in. A lot of Titans. Bork, Darius, Titans. So there you go. Like, if we're doing power rankings, Titans. The Giants are a mess. Jeff says the Giants because they have Malik Neighbors. But
I mean, all right. Who's throwing to him? Danny DeVito?
Would you rather Titans or Jaguars?
Titans.
I'm with the Titans firmly on that one as well.
I had to think about it more on that one. I mean, I don't hate where the Jaguars are right now personally, but I think the Titans are in a more exciting spot, so I'll go Titans.
Yeah, I mean, they got rid of a lot of their like weapons that they need to get rid of because they need to sort of get away from those investments. But I don't like the Liam Cohen hire particularly. But, I think
We'll
that
see.
might end up being kind of bad for them.
I don't know. I'm intrigued.
They seem to have less assets to get better, though. Like
That's
the
true.
Titans, I will say that I think the Titans have a younger core than the Jags, and the Titans have the number 1 pick. And I think those two things combined put them in a better future position than the Jags. If I was taking a bet who's better faster, I would bet on the Titans before I bet on the Jaguars.
Maybe. I mean, but the Jaguars have a franchise quarterback, a cornerstone wide receiver 1 who looks awesome, and they're probably about to either have Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter on their team.
Is it
So
franchise or just roster? I mean, I'm not going to factor in like market size or something like that to this, but I am doing roster and direction, right? Roster and assets and where they're building to. All right, 29th on this list. Would you rather Titans or Cleveland Browns?
Easily Titans. Come on.
I agree.
Talk about a team that's just, I mean, they're adrift at sea. Terrible situation.
I fully agree with that. Myles Garrett contract extension is nice, I presume, but I don't think that this is going to get any more functional.
Nice for who besides Myles? It's nice for Myles. Who else cares?
I mean, it's nice for the Browns to have a
Let's
player.
go.
Like
we
that.
got our guy back who's gonna, be awesome despite us still being bad. Yes.
Yeah.
Sweet.
15 and a half sacks next year for this defense.
We get to continue ruining this Hall of Famer's career. Great.
Would you rather right now Titans or New Orleans Saints? I'm going with the Titans.
Easily the Titans because
that cap issue, Derek Carr issue, it feels like the Saints are treading water and in denial of the imminent blow up that needs to happen, and they're just trying to stay 7-10.
They're a mess. Total mess. Terrible franchise.
27th, would you rather the Titans or the New York Jets?
Still, this one's hard, but it's harder. I'd still say the Titans just because of the quarterback situation, and the Jets are having to take their medicine a little bit this year with the field situation. But I do like both of their leadership hires. I like their head coach. I think Aaron Glenn's going to be really good. I really do. And I think that they've got a pretty decent core up there now that they've kind of uprooted the rot from last year. They got rid of the rot.
Jeff says Jets. Daniel says Jets. Darius says Jets, unfortunately, because of the young talent.
But we have seen that young talent for a couple of years on that roster now, and it has continued to be squandered by bad quarterback play. And until they get good quarterback play, it's going to continue to be squandered, right?
That I think is the debate with the Titans versus Jets. The Jets certainly have a better roster. They certainly have better young talent. They have a better core, but they don't have the quarterback and they don't have the path to get the quarterback, right? Like they are hoping to make the playoffs, I suppose, with Justin Fields being like
they need to suck next year so they can get in that quarterback sweepstakes is what they need to do.
And I don't know what they're trying to do, right? Like Justin Fields, I can see the attraction to the upside there if you're a team that needs a quarterback where you want to take a shot at it, but I don't think you go into the year with any confidence that he's the answer. And all it's going to do is kind of perpetually put you in that same spot where you're like, oh, we have all of this talent and we don't have the quarterback to actually take us to the next level. So it's like, would you rather have the asset to get the quarterback or would you rather have the roster in place without the asset? I don't know. Would you rather Tennessee Titans or Raiders? Las Vegas Raiders. This is where I jumped the shark, I think.
Yeah, Raiders.
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
If you'd have asked me a month ago, I'd have said Titans for sure. But in the last month,
they spent a lot of money. I don't know. I think Pete Carroll brings them no future, but at least how
can you not have faith in Pete?
No, I don't have faith in Pete Carroll being a coach in 5 years because of how old he is. But I think
he's going to right the ship and then pass it off to trusted.
I agree. I think Pete Carroll kind of does this thing where he immediately raises your floor back to competence as an organization. And this is what Tom Brady in ownership does as well. He gives a sense of credibility to the Las Vegas Raiders where the Raiders are now able to go and make big moves and get big players and build a roster. And you've got a good head coach in Pete Carroll that I think can make them like a respected NFL team again. And the plan is that you maybe use Geno for a year or two and then pass the torch, and then you have a nice younger quarterback with a younger head coach, and you've built a more stable organization. But I think the Raiders roster is a lot better than people might think it is. I mean, why Raiders for you?
It's all of what you just said. It is the ownership situation, the influx of cash flow, the head coach who I have total faith in, just from a culture building standpoint. I think that he alone is convincing to me in some way. The quarterback upgrade, dramatic. I'm a huge Geno guy. I think that they now have a top 10, top 8 quarterback in the league. And they've got some young players that are electric, right? Like they've got some exciting guys on that team, and they're about to add. I mean, Ashton Genty might be a Raider here in a couple of weeks.
Ashton Genty, you still have Max Crosby. Brock Bowers is one of the best weapons in football.
Right. So it's the first time in my lifetime that the Raiders are like super exciting going into a season, for me at least.
I'm really interested in watching the Raiders, and then I think like all of what you just said, right? The cash flow. The Raiders have so much cap space that they're literally having to give out contracts to a ton of guys just because they have to spend money, and they're still going to have $100 million to spend next year. Mm-hmm. Like it is a really fortuitous position to walk into. It is the result of multiple years of teardown.
I said what I said, bud. Geno's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now. He's playing better than the 11th best player in the league. He is.
We'll see. He's close.
He's
close. I think he's in the conversation. I don't think it's crazy.
Tall Texan, you just exposed yourself for not watching Geno Smith, my friend.
I think he belongs in the conversation. 25th on this power ranking is the New England Patriots. I certainly would rather be the Patriots than the Titans. For a laundry list of reasons. Would you agree with that?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Patriots or Titans? I would certainly rather be the Patriots.
Yes. My initial hesitance was just what they've done. Like the Vrabel free agency behavior is really turning me off. Like really turning me off.
No effing way. Why? No, to me, it's Patriots by a mile. They've got more cap space. They've got a better defense. They've got a better head coach in my eyes, or at least a more proven head coach now.
What are you talking about? All of the reasons you just gave are not good reasons. The only reason is they have Drake May on their roster. It's the only reason.
Well, that's the other reason. Right?
Okay, I know, but like if Drake May didn't exist, I would have said Titans easy, super easy, not even close. But I'm a huge Drake May guy. So
I find Mike Vrabel walking into a situation that has a young quarterback that you believe is the guy, where Mike Vrabel isn't going to have to coach up. Woo!
Bless you.
Where Mike Vrabel's not going to have to coach up or hunt for his young quarterback, right? He has the guy planted on the roster. He can focus on the defense. They have all the cap space to supplement that defense. And there are some really, really nice young players. I'll remind everybody, like, this is a secondary that has Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis right now. Now they have, they've added to their defensive front. And, oh, by the way, they're probably getting Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter on that team to go along with it.
Or a stud tackle, but yes.
Right, which they also need, and solves the big problem for Drake May. The foundation is already – I think the foundation of the Patriots is better developed than the foundation of the Titans, because I think the Patriots are a year in the future.
Yep.
And – that to me is where I'd rather be there right now.
Yeah, all of that and head coach Mike Vrabel are exciting. GM Mike Vrabel might ruin it all. We'll see.
I agree, right? Like I think that's the risk. Carolina, Indianapolis, Dallas are the three teams further ahead of the Titans. Are there any of those teams you would take the Titans over? Carolina, Indianapolis, Dallas.
Carolina, no. I like where Carolina's going right at the moment. Indianapolis, I would take the Titans, and the Colts or the Cowboys. I mean, I think I would. The Cowboys are just such a
I think
perpetually mediocre clown show.
I think the Cowboys and the Colts are both, they fall into that bucket that I used earlier. Is right now, like, I certainly think they're better than the Titans. So I think,
yes,
I get why they're ranked ahead of them in power rankings.
Like
I'm not questioning that. But if you told me who is better and like a playoff, like in the playoffs with some upside sooner, the Titans or the Cowboys or the Titans or the Colts, I think I do go with the Titans, I think.
I mean, the Colts are about to have an open competition between the guy they drafted at 4th and washed up Daniel Jones. Like,
The Colts have a good roster. I just think they're
yes.
they
If
they
they had a good quarterback, then I'd be in,
like
but they
Jacob
don't.
says Colts way over Titans. Jeff says Colts over Titans.
Crazy.
The Colts are a better team. I don't know.
We
if
are
they
about
have
to watch an Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones idiot fight for 3 months. Like, what are we talking
they're
about?
lost. I think they're lost at quarterback. They're lost on direction. They're lost on the offensive line. They've lost a lot of those pieces. I
struggle to see the path.
What's so for those of you that are clowning us in the chat, right? Like, what is the long-term?
What's the path?
What is the long-term attraction of the Colts?
What is the Colts' clear path to contention right now? Because with the Titans, it's easy. It may not work.
No,
you can see the road
Jacob says pot calling the kettle black because all of I said, where I said that they're lost at quarterback, lost on the offensive line. The Titans know where they're going at quarterback. They're drafting a guy first overall. The Titans know what they're doing on the offensive line because they have a left tackle that they just signed to a deal where they can keep him for 4 years if they want. They've got 3 more years of their left guard. They've got 3 more years of their center. They've got a 1-year deal at right guard to kind of plug and play a hole. And they've got 4 more years of their right tackle. So they have at least 3 seasons of 4 of their 5 offensive linemen being under contract control. So this is not like a thing where they don't know where it's going and they're losing pieces. They're supplementing their offensive line, and we know where they're going at quarterback. Jeff says wide receiver and running back. Hey, Jeff. All right. I mean, if your reason for why you'd rather be the Colts long-term is that they have a good running back, you're lost. You're lost on what matters. You're lost on how to build an organization. You can have all the wide receivers and running backs you want. You had great ones last year. And
also, the Colts are like at best 25% better at the running back position. Like, what are we talking about? The Titans have a good running back. I mean,
Jonathan Taylor's real good. I think he's really good.
Yeah, Tony Pollard was also real good last year. Like,
Michael Pittman Jr., I think, is one of the most underrated players in all of football.
He's good.
And he's underrated because his quarterback sucks every year.
Josh Downs is the best receiver on that team, but I like them both. I think they're both good receivers, and if they had a decent quarterback, that they make some magic. But
throwing for the Titans, Cam Ward with the #1 overall pick.
Welcome to the party, Jeff.
The Titans. Right now, we don't like the Titans this year. I don't expect to be better than the Colts. I will bet right now the Colts have a better record than the Titans in 2025. But in 2026, good luck, because you're still going to be stuck with Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I think that's I think that's very narrow-minded thinking to think that, like, oh, well, we have running backs and receivers, so we're good.
You also just lost your offensive line. What are we talking about?
Right. I think the Titans might have a better offensive line than the Colts as we speak right now. Which
the Titans do have a better offensive line than the Colts right now. I'll play my flag on that.
And it's a sustainable offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a problem. You got to build in the trenches to have sustained success. Anyways, let's move it on. Let's talk. Let's get to a few of the final things. Let's put a bow on NCAA tournament talk before we go into the tournament tomorrow. We will get over there, and then we will do some sports trivia. Easton, I think you have, am I correct in saying that did you have additional questions? What did we leave unsaid?
Well, you were going to talk, you teased a big bracket choice where you're planting your flag on one of the later seeds, making it deep, I think. So that's what we were going to talk about.
Okay. Yes. The two things, and if you tuned into A to Z Sports Primetime yesterday. Oh, I was supposed to give my Final Four as well. And Easton, I want to hear from you. Have you filled out a bracket?
I am filling out my bracket today. I did a lot of research yesterday, and I slept on it. And I have opinions now on the teams that I like to make some runs, but I've not actually done the deed. That will be today.
Today's the last day, man. Yeah, I got to get on it. Okay.
That's great.
Well, here is my Final Four. All right. So in the chat right now, give me those Final Fours. I
have my champion in my head, even though I've not filled out my bracket. I know who I think is going to win.
All right. We'll go to you then after we get Final Fours. When I give my champion, we'll get your champion. So give me your Final Fours in the chat. And while you give me your Final Fours, I'm going to tell you guys about the thing that I teased. a double-digit seed that I have going all the way to the Elite Eight. That's right, all the way to the Elite Eight. This is the one team that's going to bust your bracket. The one team that is going to create problems nobody saw coming because everybody's picking against them in the first round.
The Lipscomb University Bisons going to the Elite Eight.
The trendy pick is on the other side of their first round matchup to go deep.
Now I'm trying to figure out who it is.
It is the VCU Rams going all the way to the Elite Eight as an 11 seed.
Okay. Let me hear it.
Everybody loves BYU. Everybody loves the fact that they score points. They're the hot pick right now. I've seen people with BYU in the Final Four because they have the most NCAA tournament appearances of any team that has never made the Final Four. But VCU, this is a top 10 defense in the country. They allow about 62 points per game. So when we talk about the Drake Bulldogs, the Houston Cougars, the St. Mary's Gales, the UC San Diego, we talk about these elite defenses that turn you over. VCU is in that conversation. Not only are they in that conversation, they're also a team that rebounds very well. They actually shoot particularly well from the floor. They can win games in a lot of different ways because they can score with you and put up 85, or they can lock you down and hold you to 58. VCU has experience and chemistry. This is a veteran team. 4 of their 5 starters have played in college basketball together for 3 seasons now. So this is, I like their draw. If we look at their draw on one side of the bracket, right, they play a lot of teams that like to go and score. They like to play a lot of teams that play one-track basketball. Alabama's, BYU's, these high-powered teams. I like VCU to win against BYU and win against Wisconsin, another team that relies on three-point shooting heavily if they want to advance. I think they're going to upset some people, and then they get St. Mary's in the Sweet 16 and make a run all the way to the Elite Eight. So there's my Cinderella. I love a team that is multiple, that they can play different styles of basketball. They've got experience in chemistry in the dance, and that is exactly what VCU has. So there's the dark horse. Nobody's talking about them. Everybody's going to be gassing up BYU. Doug, I already see in the chat, he's got BYU in the Final Four.
Whoa.
A lot of people do. The
inverse of yours. That's crazy.
I have VCU going to the Elite Eight. Okay, so that's my sleeper.
Doug's Final Four is BYU and then all SEC.
You heard it here first. Plant the flag. Dalen's taking the action on BYU. Hey, knock yourself out, man. I'm gonna be vetting. I might go in and see what the line is on Rams to make the Elite Eight or something, and see if I can get that money. All right, Final Four looks. Go into the chat here. Duke, Auburn, Florida, Houston. So
the ones,
all the 1 seeds from Brandon. Okay,
bold take from Brandon.
Well, it's boring. I know it's boring, but Brandon is right. This year of all years is
4 of the top 6 number 1 seeds in the last decade or something.
Yeah, it's 4 historically good teams. The top end of the talent pool, the top end of the sport in college basketball this year is just unlike what we've seen in the past.
Who's the 1 seed you have the least faith in?
Florida.
If I told you Florida. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For me,
Florida, I think, has a really difficult draw. I think Maryland as the 5 seed that they could run into in the Sweet 16 is a really tough draw. I like St. John's. I think St. John's might be my favorite 2 seed in the entire bracket. So I think, and Florida, by the way, a date with UConn in the second round, possibly on the horizon. So I think it's a dangerous run for Florida. And a dangerous draw. And then, I made this case yesterday when we talked about the tournament, but Florida just really hasn't played anybody outside of the SEC that gives me confidence that they're going to be battle tested against a different style of play. I think Auburn is sort of inevitable. Duke is the most well-rounded team in the country. And I think Houston's the best defensive team in the country.
Caps, I don't know what championship game you watched, but that's not what happened.
I think that's a prediction.
Oh, okay. I was like,
that's
what are we
prediction.
talking about? I see. Okay,
that's
so
his
a
bracket
rematch
prediction, not recapping the SEC tournament.
Okay, all right.
So I have the least faith in Florida. I do have Florida being the first 1 seed bounced from the tournament as well. So I have them being the first one gone. Florida, to me, loses in the Sweet 16 to the Maryland Terrapins. That's where I have Florida's fate falling.
Wow.
Florida, very trendy pick right now, though. Cap says Florida, Iowa State, losing in the first round to Lipscomb, Duke, and the Tennessee Volunteers. Jesse says Florida, Auburn, Duke, and Illinois. What a bracket. Me personally, I like Jesse's bracket with with Illinois in the Final Four.
Okay.
Illinois and Kentucky are the same exact team. I think they're really fun, that especially because they might play each other in the second round. If good Illinois and good Kentucky show up, they're arguably the best team in the country. And if bad Illinois or bad Kentucky show up, they're going to lose by 30 to whoever they play.
Mm-hmm.
I have very little faith that either one of Illinois or Kentucky are going to be able to be good Illinois and Kentucky for 4 straight games to get to the Final Four.
Yep.
But I don't think a Sweet 16 or an Elite 8 appearance is off the table for either one of them if they can, just get hot. It'll be fun. I want to see Illinois, Kentucky in round 2, where both teams are the good versions of themselves. It'll be the best game of the tournament.
I think it'd be way funnier if both teams are the bad version of themselves. It's an idiot
we'll
fight.
think it's the good version, but
Right.
it's actually the bad version of
the
both
idiot
teams.
fight.
Yeah. Bork has Florida, St. John's, Houston, and Auburn, ? As the call there on his Final Four. Eric's taking Yale to the Final Four. I love it.
Wow.
Yale, Duke,
13 seed,
Gonzaga. A couple people back in my VCU take. I think they're underseeded for an 11. Again, I want to say that. I see Auburn, Florida, Duke, Tennessee from Cristofero. Houston, Duke, Auburn, and UConn. Orlando going with the defending champs, the back-to-back champs. You're going for a three-peat here. Mr. Jones has the Vols making the Final Four. Doug has Tennessee in the Final Four with Auburn, Florida, and BYU. East in my Final Four, okay? Let me plant the flag. I'm going to take Michigan State. I'm going to take Michigan State to come out of that top left region, beating Auburn in the Elite 8.
Wow.
Tom Izzo in March.
Your bracket is dripping with SEC disdain. Florida down.
Yeah,
Tennessee down.
I like Auburn a lot.
Down.
I do like Auburn a lot, but I also like this Michigan.
I'll have to send them home after weekend number 2.
I mean, it's the Elite 8. It's one step before the Final Four. That's a pick'em game between a 1 and a 2 seed.
Keep talking your way into whatever you're about to end up saying that ends with Illinois champions.
No, Tom Izzo in March. Tom Izzo in March really just he knows how to how to win these big games, and Michigan State is playing their best basketball of the year right now. They're really getting hot. I think Jace Richardson is the type of guy that can take over a game and put up 25 points against the best teams in the country. They shoot it really well, and I think that Michigan State is riding a little bit of a hot hand. I think they almost have a free trip in my eyes to the Elite 8. And so I think they're going to have to win one big game against Auburn. I have Michigan State winning in the first round against Bryant. I have them. I think that's who they play. I have them. I have them taking on New Mexico, a 10 seed in the second round. New Mexico, possibly a fun team. They've got one of the best players in the country playing guard for them, but the Mountain West continues to disappoint, as evidenced by San Diego State last night. So New Mexico may be a little bit weaker than we think. Michigan State beats New Mexico. I have them getting Ole Miss in the Sweet 16 after Ole Miss gets a date with Lipscomb, who upsets Iowa State. Ole Miss, I don't think, can hang with Michigan State. So then I think it's a real matchup, Michigan State, Auburn in the Elite 8 with Izzo taking that and getting back to a Final Four. It's been a minute since Izzo was in a Final Four. Bottom left, I'm going with St. John's. St. John's, St. John's has lost 4 games all year. They've lost those games by a combined 7 points. St. John's does not lose many games, and when they do, it's like one shot. Like they are in every single game, 4 losses by 7 points. They shoot really well from the floor, but they don't shoot, which I like. There's a trend in my picks. I like teams that shoot the 3 really well, but don't shoot a ton, because I think if you're shooting a ton in March, a bad shooting day is the death of you. St. John's can get to the line. They've got a really strong defense. I brought up the defense earlier of, VCU. I think St. John's is another team that can defend. And frankly, I don't think they're the Big East gets enough respect every year. This is a team that is super battle tested. They've got more quad one wins than any team other than Florida. They have more quad one wins than any team other than Florida. I like Rick Pitino to get it done in the tournament again. And I also have them not having to play Florida because they get a date with Maryland, whose luck runs out at the Elite Eight. Top right, I'm going with Duke. Didn't want to, don't want to, hate it. Sick to my stomach. They're the best team, I think, best well-rounded team. Cooper Flagg is, going to be healthy, at least by the Sweet 16 when it really matters. I think they get a fortuitous line with that 8-9 matchup with neither one of those teams, Mississippi State and Baylor, are really all that good. So I think Duke is going to sort of trounce through that bracket, and then they'll get VCU in the Elite Eight for sort of a layup to get to the Final Four. Bottom right, I'm going with Houston. Houston over Tennessee in the Elite Eight in what should be in just an epic basketball game. But Houston started 4-3. They finished 30-4. They've won 26 of their last 27.
That's crazy.
Four losses this year, and 3 of them are in overtime. Their biggest loss this year was a 5-point overtime loss to Auburn. They have 14 quad one wins. They're 14-3 against quad one teams. Second most of any team in the country. They're the best shooting team in the country, and they're the best defensive team in the country. So Houston, just a wagon. They've won 30 games in 4 consecutive seasons under Kelvin Sampson. He's one of the most experienced head coaches. He's been to a Final Four recently. I think he does it again. I've got Houston against Duke, St. John's against Michigan State. My national title game will be between the St. John's Red Storm and the Houston Cougars, and Houston is my national champion.
Wow. So the one seed that I have the least faith in is Houston. You have them as your champion. The one seed that you have the least faith in is Florida. I have them as my champion.
Okay. Why Florida? Why Florida?
Because I watched so much Florida basketball, specifically in the last 3 days. They looked like the best team.
Okay. I mean, fair enough, right?
Because I think they're hot right now, and I think they trounced to the SEC. And you're right that they don't have a whole lot of game this year to show for outside of the SEC. But to me, the SEC gauntlet that they cut through like a knife through hot butter is proof of concept enough for me to think that they can do it against the rest of the league.
Why no faith in Houston here?
For me, Houston, I think, don't get me wrong, I don't have them like some shockingly early exit. The reason why if I had to pick a one seed, and again, to whoever the first commenter was that had all 4 1 seeds in the Final Four, like I really do get it. When you look at the advanced numbers, they are like 4 of the top 6 1 seeds that we've seen in the past decade or something. So Houston's a very good team that's going to go deep. For me, it's just, I don't, what's the element of their game as a basketball team that you really hang your hat on?
Defense.
They're really right. They're and that's what most people would say. They're pretty well rounded and they've got a strong defense.
I think they have what are the things that we say like win in March, right? Guards and experience, right? LJ Cryer is their best player. He's a senior guard. Emmanuel Sharp is a junior guard. Milo Suzan is a junior guard. These guys have been playing together. So their backcourt is really, really experienced. They can press you. They've been here before. Let's also like not forget they've been to the Final Four before. Kelvin Sampson has won 30 games in 4 consecutive seasons. This is their 3rd straight year on a 1 seed. So this is a group of guards that have not just been experienced, but they're very experienced in this very tournament. If you look at the stats around college basketball, I'll pull it up right now, but the Houston Cougars are the best 3-point shooting team in this tournament. They're 4th in the entire country and number 1 in the entire tournament. The only teams better at shooting the 3 than Houston, the Bradley Braves at number 1, Villanova at number 2, and North Dakota State at number 3. Houston is right there. However, Houston only shoots 23 pointers per game. A lot of those teams above them are at 24, 29, 27 3-pointers. So they shoot well, but they don't shoot a lot. I think that they're 4th in 3-point percentage, 285th in 3-point attempts. They have the number 2 defense in the entire country. And oh, by the way, the Final Four is in San Antonio. So essentially a home game for the Houston Cougars if they do end up getting to that Final Four. I just think veteran experience, guard play, good shooting, can score in multiple ways, great defense. I think that this is I really, really like this team. I have a hard time seeing a world where Houston doesn't sit in the Elite Eight. And can a team like Tennessee unseat them? Maybe. But I think it would take Tennessee's best game.
I don't have a whole lot of pushback. You clearly are more well versed in this than I am, but that's the beauty of March Madness, right? Is the vibes guy tends to beat the guy that's actually done the work.
Totally.
So we'll see.
Totally. It's the why'd you pick Florida? I don't know. Cool logo.
They're exactly. They have the pretty colors. I like their colors better.
So I don't know. I feel more prepared, and this is last words of death, right? I feel more prepared for this March Madness tournament than any March Madness tournament in the past. I have watched more college basketball this year. I've watched more college basketball this year than I have ever. And so I've been building up. I'm so excited for tomorrow. I cannot tell you how excited for tomorrow I am. I have a flight to Chicago in the morning. I'm getting off that plane and I'm sprinting to a TV. I got to sit down and watch some ball.
All right.
But because I'm so confident and so excited and all ready to go, this is going to be the year that I'm just so off.
I hope that your hard work pays dividends for your sake, because it will be no skin off my back if my bracket is a disaster, because I put no work into it. So
yeah, well, I'm in a lot of bracket pools, so we gotta fingers crossed that I've
they got a second mortgage because of the bracket.
I think this is kind of a scam, by the way, because we go, oh, hey, join my bracket pool. It's $10. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And then next thing you know, I've got $110 sunk into my bracket because I'm in 11 pools. And I'm like, oh yeah, that adds up pretty quick there.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, let's get to sports trivia and get out of here on a Wednesday morning. Trivia time. Sports trivia brought to you by our friends at Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Easton, you got it pulled up. Are we ready here?
Hit it.
Well, I'm not ready, so
we're
not going to hit it. All right, now we can hit it. All right, not bad.
Not bad.
All right, going for time, rapid fire. Let's see what we can do. No baseball on the board, but we do have a college basketball question for us to get that. All right, Easton, start with NFL. Let's go around the horn.
NFL, AFC South running backs led this NFL in rushing yards in back-to-back years, with Arian Foster leading the league in 2010 and this running back doing so in 2011. That'd be Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, good call.
Maurice Jones-Drew. I read that question poorly. Originally gaining fame as a Nickelodeon star for shows like iCarly and Sam and Cat, this actress wrote the best-selling 2022 memoir, I'm Glad. That is Jeanette McCurdy.
Jeanette McCurdy, yeah.
Jeanette?
Yeah.
How do you spell her name?
Try McCurdy. I think it's G-A-N.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
G-E-N. Sure. Okay, sure.
Struggling to pay the bills after her husband abandoned the family, Jennifer Love Hewitt takes a job at a massage parlor that does a little extra in this Lifetime series from 2011 and 2012. No clue. Help us out.
Yeah.
That's a massage parlor that does a little extra. Okay. All right. The Bob Kraft massage parlor. What is this called? We need your help.
Chad is not in it.
Happy Endings is not what the name of the show is, David. Deshaun's Place.
Deshaun's Place.
Justin Tucker's Place. Client List. Is that what it's called? Jeff has a guess. Client List. Is that even an option? Let's see if that's even an option. The Client List is an option. Another Client List. Should we go with Jeff here?
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Good pull.
All right, Jeff.
Melissa Peregram played a rebellious who is, that's a weird way to say it, rebellious who is forced to rejoin the world of professional gymnastics in order to avoid legal trouble in this 06 dramedy featuring Jeff Bridges. What?
Oh, again, no clue.
Chat, help us out. That's a weirdly worded question. Plays a rebellious teen? A rebellious teen? Is that what they meant? Weeds?
Yeah, it has to be teen.
So it's a gymnastics 06 dramedy. Stick It? Let's see if Stick It's an option. Stick It is an option. People are saying Stick It. 2 Stick It's in the chat.
Go for it.
Sure, Stick It. Nice. Music. What country is Shakira from?
Uh,
Colombia, I think.
I was gonna say Brazil, or maybe Argentina.
Well, we're in the right area code. I think it's Colombia.
Shakira.
Shakira.
I agree. I agree with
Shakira.
Corey. These are bad questions
They
today.
are.
Maybe
Chat, is it Colombia
Colombia, Argentina,
Brazil?
All right, Colombia
Colombia
for sure. All right, go with Colombia. I don't know.
Colombia. Sweet. In 13, Mountain Dew launched this line of caffeinated juice drinks with flavors like energizing black cherry, energizing orange. Kickstart. Yep. I've had some of those. College basketball, VCU's run to the 11 Final Four began with a Final Four win over this Pac-10 school led by Nikola Vucevic.
USC.
Nice. College football. Dwayne Johnson played college football at this school from 99.
Miami.
Yep. All right.
That is Jesse Plemons.
Yep.
And what's her name? I can see your face from Glee.
Jane Lynch.
Yeah, Jane Lynch and Jesse Plemons.
Woo! 330? 9 for 9? Hello, with bad questions too.
Bad questions. Hey, chat, you're the MVP of this one because
really
those
are.
Those
bailouts on the movie and TV were just
movie and TV question. That was brutal trivia right there. Like that was ugly question.
That might be an all-timer right there. Have we ever been 330 or sub 330 on a 9 for 9?
That's up there. For sure.
That's the new bar to clear, the 330 mark, 9 for 9.
And yes, I will say I do think I'm pretty good at the celebrity mashups.
You are.
It's just a random, I don't know why. I just like see it. And I'm just like, oh yeah, that's Jesse Plemons' hair.
He's got an eye for cursed celebrity images.
It's a weird thing that you can't study or like anything. You just have to kind of know.
All right. Well,
you guys killed the TV. You guys killed the movie.
Hard to beat that. That's a team effort right there.
It was well-rounded. You know, we had some good polls. Jeff had a nice poll on the movie. You were right on Colombia for Shakira, which I think was a pretty decent shot. I mean, is that public knowledge that Shakira's from Colombia?
For some reason my brain was just new. So it must be because I felt strongly about that. I don't know.
All right.
I guess in my life I heard she's from Colombia and I locked that in.
All right. That's all for us today. Thanks for checking it out. Easton will be back on Thursday and Friday morning with Ryan Roberts to do some mock draft stuff and take a look at the edge rushers and wide receivers that might end up becoming Tennessee Titans in a few short weeks here. The draft is around the corner. A2Zsports.com has all the content for you to keep an eye out for. Till then, we'll see you later. Tighten up.